Hi, I'm Luke. Welcome back to Leicester City Down Under. Just doing a quick preview today. I've got some couple of guests today. I've got Kate from LTID TV. How you going, Kate?
Hello, I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm proper pinching all of LTID's guests and co-hosts. This isn't the sister channel. This is LTID Down Under. Basically, now I'm the nephew that Chris didn't want of the channel. How you going, Kate?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. Looking forward to tonight.
Look,
Big game.
big game. I haven't got a chance to really talk to anyone about this yet. I had a lot going over the last weekend, but wanted to ask you what you thought of quickly of the QPR game before we get into the Leeds preview, because it's like the second game now we've won, and I don't mean to be negative or nitpicky, but it's a second game where we've looked vulnerable again, and just I know it's good to see that we persevered and we're not collapsing like we used to under Rodgers, but it is the second time. I'm curious to see what you thought of that game. You were there, weren't you?
Yeah, so the first half was a bit first gear. I mean, did you watch the match? Did you manage to catch some of it?
Yeah, I caught the whole game. Yeah,
Yeah. So I thought the first half was very much first gear, a bit casual. I thought it lacked intensity. I would never go as far as boring because I don't ever find Leicester boring, but it was, yes, certainly lacking intensity. And then second half, we seemed to come out better. And the sending off definitely changed things. I thought it made the crowd a bit more feisty. It woke the players up a bit. And I thought we played some really good football second half, but we had to work hard. And I don't ever think we're complacent, because I don't think Enzo permits that. But there was kind of it's just a matter of time before we score. And you don't want to take your eye off the ball and then concede when you're feeling like that. So we had to work hard for it. And it could have easily been a draw, because I don't think, whilst QPR weren't going to get the winner, I think it was obviously a great goal from Winks that won it. So it needed that, because I could have seen it being 1-1, and you don't really want to drop points to those kind of teams. But similarly, QPR, Loftus Road, I've never been there before, but it's such an intense environment. I expected it to be. It's an old ground. You're so close to the pitch. I was on row 3, I think, back. You're so close to the pitch. There's not a big gap between the fans and the field. The field's quite small. The size of the pitch is quite small as well. So it was a bit of a cauldron. So it was probably a more unusual environment than a lot of the players are used to, because you don't get that in Premier League so much anymore. They're all kind of big stadiums, far from the pitch, a bit of an arena. Whereas Loftus Road was a real cauldron, old school, hard knocks type of ground to go to, and we had to work hard for it.
that's awesome. I would love to go to a game like that. So, were you near the crowd when Winks came up to celebrate his goal? Were you right there, or were you?
In the other side, I was exactly mirror image. Exactly the mirror image. I was like, why didn't you come over to our side? I could have
No,
booked
no.
him. Yeah,
It was
we're the
really
same
great to see
position
that.
at the other side of the goal, so it was a bit of a shame. But yeah, everyone just went nuts at the end, and the fact that Enzo clearly said, "Go over to the fans and enjoy it" at the end, and everybody got given a scarf and all of that. So it was nice to actually properly celebrate with them, because they came much closer to us than they normally do to celebrate and to just be with the fans for like 5 or 10 minutes. It was really good. I don't know if you saw the clip of the social media guy was on the floor, like filming them on the penalty area, and Vardy just pushed him over.
Yeah.
Like he was up to his old tricks. But yeah, it was a great feeling. It was one of those wins where it mattered, and it's probably the most I've celebrated a goal this season, because it was really important, and it was a great goal, and the fans just went absolutely wild. Yeah, it's great.
Let's get a couple of comments here. Loftus Road has always been volatile back in the Stand Bowl days. We'll remember that. Um, I'm sorry, that went over my head. I'm too Australian for that one. Great, how you going, mate? Hope you're all right. How you going, Judy? I seen your comment too. Thank you for tuning in. It's in regards to how good the fans are and soaking that in and taking that extra 5 minutes. You know, the mentality and the positive energy around the team is completely night and day under Enzo. It's great to see, and it's almost like we've been. If we were, let's say, hypothetically, I hope we don't touch wood, but if we were to lose to Leeds, I can't see. I would like to think that a lot of the fans and stuff like that aren't going to have a complete meltdown like they did after we lost to Hull. It's like, pinching ourselves as Chris is all the time, because we just keep winning and winning. But let's just enjoy it while it lasts. It's nice. Just currently looking at Leeds' recent form here. They just smashed Huddersfield. They shaped up for 2-3-1. They've been playing Perot, as we were saying off air, basically is almost like a number 10. Um, with Rutter as the main man striker. You were saying just before you think Somerville might have an injury, because that was the matchup that I was quite
Yeah,
looking forward to, him versus JJ.
yeah, yeah. So we spoke about this on the debate show with LTID TV on Monday. That Chris seemed to think he'd read that Somerville had an injury, and I looked into that yesterday. And I think at the end, I think he got taken off in the game last weekend with a normal kind of muscular, nothing, no big deal type of injury. But reading some of the news articles, they're being a bit covert about it, but it could be a bigger muscular problem. So more long-term sidelined. But they're going to be keeping closed lips about that, aren't they? They're not going to say. But yeah, it might be a surprise if he starts. It depends how the training's gone, I suppose, this week. But that's just something I've heard. It's not been set in stone. It's all a bit rumours, to be honest. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, so obviously I hope that he doesn't play, but they have looked dangerous in their recent games when they're on Leeds. They're a bit of a mixed bag, but when they're on the counter and they're progressive football, it's fast, it's quick, and to me, that's the one place we have been vulnerable when we have been hitting the counter. It's the one area also where, as good as he's been, Yannick, and amazing, I'm not saying he's done anything wrong, but he does have a bit of lack of pace, and he is usually that last man back. So I'm hoping that we're not going to make any sloppy passes this game. We're going to be on point, because to me, this is the big game of the season to me.
Yeah, same. I think I've thought about this fixture for most of the season, that this is going to be the crunch one in terms of their attacking threat, because I think their attacking threat is probably up there with the best in the league. So I agree, the pace issue could be a problem. So that may be something that Enzo's factoring in. Is that why he played Cody last week? Did he want him sharper for today? We could see Cody come in and fast. You don't really know what Enzo's thinking, but the more concern is that how high Hermansen plays as a bit of a sweeper keeper. I don't want him getting caught out either and coming charging out of his box and making a rash tackle because Yannick's not been nearer to his man. So we'll just have to see how it goes today. But yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. He may not pick Vestergaard. I can't see him dropping him, but because it seems to be a recipe that's working. But I don't know. He's not afraid to drop people, and I think he's got the team so engaged that they understand the roles that they have and where they're useful and not so useful.
Yeah, that's right, and it's interesting what you were saying about Mads. It is high risk, high reward when he does that sweeper keeper role, and he comes in and it tends to help us keep possession of the football. And I know when Danny Ward was in, and even sometimes Schmeichel, leaving that whenever there's a counter and they have a break and it's just one man belting it forward, and you've got that 1v1 and they're just staying basically in their penalty area, and it's just like, oh shit, what's going to happen? You get that. You get the same thing, but kind of the opposite with Mads. He comes right out and it's like, God, I hope you get there first, please.
Yeah,
but when he does, it's awesome.
He does seem loads more nimble than Schmeichel, doesn't he? Some of the saves he's been able to pull off. When I saw him up close last week as well, it justified to me that Schmeichel, it was time to go, because I'm not saying this guy's better or worse than Schmeichel, but he's a younger man. He's more nimble, he's more athletic, he's more dynamic, and he has a modern approach to the game, which is what Enzo has. So he has got that ability to be just a bit more than a keeper in certain areas, because his saves have been acrobatic, haven't they, at times? So
yeah. And just quickly before I ask you, I'll get into the comments in a second. He's trying to stay in Chris's good books. He's what was I going to say? I've just lost my train of thought now. Just get this other comment up here. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Mads Hermansen, I'll get into your comment in a sec, great. Mads Hermansen, to me, when he first came, like you're saying about his athleticism and stuff like that, I was like, geez, I thought at first, when he first came, I thought he was a bit small for a goalkeeper, but he's proper spread himself. He's been great, actually. I really, really rate him. We can't afford to lose possession high up the pitch. Yes, great. It's the one area where, to me, we've looked a little vulnerable, especially if we get hit in the counter. So I do think Yannick Vestergaard will be playing, and I'm going to try and sort out my screen share in a second for my predicted starting 11, but I actually think we're going to see Wout Faes on the right-hand side, curious to see what you think, Kate, of when Cody played. It was kind of hard to see because we've seen him start originally before he got hurt. Everyone was shouting that he was going to be the captain and etc. And you could see in the preseason games, how vocal he was with the lads, and he was traveling, supporting the boys. But I don't know if it's just me, but like watching him on the telly, like he didn't look as that confident voice. If anything, it looked like it was Yannick that was barking out all the orders and stuff. I also think that, and I'm being really, really harsh here. I love Cody, and he's only just come back from his foot injury and hasn't had a steady run of games. But I think there was a lack of pace on the right hand side compared to when we have Wout Faes.
Yeah, I think you could definitely tell the sharpness wasn't there. Because I went to the Northampton game pre-season and I thought Cody just looked Rolls Royce compared to what we've been used to. I thought he stood out massively. I thought he was a natural born leader on the pitch. Him and Winks stood out instantly at Northampton to me. So it's really hard to tell, isn't it? Because despite this being the Championship, it's still elite level sport, super elite level sport. And you just notice when someone's not sharp, even compared to Yannick, where you'd argue Cody perhaps has more attributes for what we would want. And the sharpness definitely wasn't there. And yeah, I think I agree with the pace situation compared to Fast, but I think we have to be careful not to let Cody get too rusty, because he needs to keep sharp, and I think he will be the centre back for the future. If we get promoted, he's still going to be here. I can't see Yannick necessarily being here, so we've just got to keep him sharp, which is why I think he'll get some minutes tonight.
You do? I think the exact same thing. We definitely need to keep, and we can afford to have that rotation of our points. I just feel like for this game, I'm unsure. I wouldn't be surprised if Cody started, don't get me wrong, but I feel like we're going to go strong for Leeds. With just get Brad in here.
In the week.
Oh. How you going, Brad? All right?
I'm not too bad. How are you two lovely people today? Are you okay?
Good. We can't see your face, though.
I know, because my camera's being a knob right now. I keep pressing the button and it won't. It's got the line through it. I keep pressing it. It did this to me last night with Chris.
Oh, okay.
You'll see my ugly mug in a minute. Don't you worry, Kate.
Brad, we're just talking. Just hang on. Just mute you for a sec, Brad. I'll unmute when I ask you this. Just thinking, Brad, we're just talking about the starting 11 and just talking about Connor Cody, and I don't know if you were listening, and also Wout Faes. What are your thoughts, Brad? Would you rather see Connor Cody the right-hand side? How do you feel he's fitting into the team for the little bits we've seen him so far?
Yeah, obviously he's kind of very similar in a lot of ways to Yannick. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm sure Kate can't believe it either, but he's a ball-playing centre-back, isn't he? He's one of them that likes to have lots of time on the ball. He likes to scan the pitch and go, where's the best option? He can play it short. He can go long. I mean, we've seen them both, Yannick and Cody, make some quality forward passes to Fatawu and into Winks and even up as far as Iheanacho and Vardy. So I don't know. I think Cody, and I think we're going to see that it won't actually be necessarily Yannick that drops out. It's going to be Wout Faes. He seemed to give that indication in the last game against was it QPR when he went Yannick and Cody. So it seems to be maybe if he feels that someone's going to be a bit more aggressive and he needs to pull ball playing defenders, and not somebody like Wout Faes who's going to play as like a third striker, if you will, when he makes his mazy runs. So Leeds tonight are apparently going to be all out aggression. We've heard that before, and then they put 11 men behind the ball. But Leeds, I actually feel like might actually live up to their words that they're speaking. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if both of them played. I wouldn't be surprised if Enzo's immediate approach to the game is, okay, they're going to come at us. I need two people that can spot a pass so we can get in behind them and play the ball out from the back the way we like. Because like Kate said, he's got to he's got to start featuring a bit more. And you look at our season and think, oh God, how do you change a winning side? But Enzo's been doing that every week. We've not had a settled 11 in a good way. And of course, that comes with playing Tuesday, Saturday, Friday nights, Wednesdays and whatnot. You have to rotate in this division. But I think he needs to start getting minutes under his belt because, like Kate said, as much as we're loving Yannick Vestergaard this season, you just feel like next season they're going to swap their roles. It's going to be Cody's going to be the more permanent option going forward, and he needs to start getting minutes under his belt because in a few weeks' time we'll blink and it's Christmas, and we all know what that means. And I'm not just talking about the stuffed bellies and the alcohol we all drink. It's the busiest time of year for football as well. So we need to make sure we are spreading the minutes around, if you will. Not just at the back either, in the midfield as well. We need to be doing that.
Yeah, we do, Brad. That's a solid point, mate. And that's what I've got a good question for you, Kate. But as we were saying, Brad, we have been spreading out the players pretty well, and it's only really the defense we haven't done so much. But definitely for the wingers, because we've got so many options now. How nice is that, Kate? Do you think, going on to what Brad was saying about FaZe and Cody, do you think it would be possible because I'm not sure if Ricardo is suspended or not, because I think he had his 5th yellow, but I'm not sure if that one of them was a Caribou Cup game. I'm not sure if he's available to play. But if he wasn't, do you think that they could play JJ again as that inverted wing back and then have FaZe, Cody, and Yannick all as a back three?
I don't think he'd do that. No. I think a back three would be seen to be quite defensive at home against a team that you would probably argue, like we've said, we're probably the favourites. I can't see him doing that, to be honest. I think he'd probably go for the Hamza option if he was pushed, if Ricardo isn't is banned. That's what I can see him doing, because that's what he's done before, hasn't he? We'll just have to see how Ricardo is available, apparently.
Okay, sorry, don't let my stupid Australian question confuse you, okay? The reason I asked was...
He has put a picture of himself.
It's just a funny one, because to me, I know Hamza has done a role there, Kate, but Brad, there's two places that we put a lot of our eggs in one basket. It's definitely with Harry Winks and the inverted wing-back role, which is Ricardo. The Hamza we do know can fill in. He has got the same, passing and ability and quality that Ricardo has. He's a complete cheat in the championship. But Harry Winks, would he to get injured, he's the one that I worry about the most. If there was anyone that would get injured in the team, it's him.
Yeah, you always find that it's naturally a little bit of a worry when you're key player, if you will. I don't want to say star player, because I think we've got a lot of them in this team, but he's very instrumental in that midfield. You normally find that a team has one or two what you'd call big cogs in your team that keep them, they're well-oiled, they're very responsible. They kind of go unnoticed. I think you could more class it as that old cliche of the unsung hero at times with what you see with Harry Winks, because his role isn't necessarily what he does on the ball. I mean, obviously what he does on the ball is brilliant, but sometimes it's about what he does off the ball, the pressure he puts on, the dragging players away because they get panicked that if he gets the ball and turns, he's going to get Leicester on the front foot. So all of a sudden, two players go towards him and it frees up a JJ on the left or a Ricardo on the right, or an Ndidi in the middle, which has allowed him to develop his newfound role under Enzo. But yeah, you're always going to have worries. You're always going to have worries in this team. There's a handful of injuries could suddenly hamper your season. And I think that's why Enzo has been so smart with his team lineups, because some managers do have that inkling to kind of not scratch that itch, like, oh, we've got a couple of games running up, but we're on a good run. I don't really want to change the team if I have to. And then, they burn out a little bit. And you've seen it most notably with Southampton. They got to a stage where they were winning, but they were starting to burn out, and then he felt like he should make some changes. I think it was against us, hadn't made a change in a while. Then he realised he had to make a change, and he couldn't put on, maybe his preferred starting 11 players against Leicester City. Nobody wants to do that in this division. Even if you're a neutral, you're probably saying that. And I think we've seen the effects of it on other teams because they went on like a really bad run for a while, which has put them down. So I think Enzo allowing Chowdhury time on the pitch, giving Cody a bit of minutes there, giving these youngsters time on the pitch, playing. I forgot his name for a second there. I've still forgot it. And Eunice, playing him in the middle because Fatawu and Mavididi and that are kind of holding down the wing positions, giving Cassidy the time while indeed he's been injured. It kind of also eases the mind to kind of think, well, yes, we'll obviously miss Winks if he was to get injured or get a suspension for a couple of games, but you feel like we've already seen enough of the quality of the depth of our squad to go. It won't be all hands on deck, panic stations ready. You're going to miss that little bit of extra quality, but I feel like Enzo's got plan B, C, D, E, F, and G, and you couldn't even get past the letter A with Brendan. So it's nice to know that, Enzo gives you that feeling as a fan that if it's not going right, he's got a list of plans to change things up for whatever reason.
That's right, Brad. It's absolutely amazing. All we had before, Kate, was let's get to the 80th, 85th minute, and if we're down, let's just put Daka on for 5 minutes and see what happens. So it's absolutely woeful. We went through Rodgers, but Kate, what are you thinking of how we shape up? I'm going to get up my starting 11 in a minute here. Do you think we see McAteer start, or do you think he gets subbed on? I think Fatawa's been playing so strong that, and McAteer just coming back from his injury, I definitely think he'll get some minutes. Do you think he starts?
Yeah, I think Fatawu will start again. I think Fatawu will start again. I think he'll be rewarded for his hard work. It's been a little. It's not like we've had a midweek game this week either. So I think Casey will feature. I'd like to see if he brings in Wilf, if Wilf's over his injury, because I think we have missed some of his engine at times. So it'd be interesting to see if Wilf's factored in at all tonight as well. So, but I really like Eunice. I think he's technically one of the better players that we've got. He's small. He's got a real low centre of gravity. His balance is awesome. His ball skills are awesome. He's got that bit of quality that perhaps Fatawu and Mabadi haven't got naturally. Like kind of the Mahrez touch. He's not on Mahrez's level, but he's got that natural ability. So there's quite a few players to consider. Because I'm hopeful that Eunice will be back. He did say it was a very short-term injury. So it'd be interesting to see, but I'd love to see McAteer feature because he's in a hot spot at the minute. He's raring to go. He's biting at it, isn't he? So he might feature maybe 60 minutes or something today. See how it goes.
I actually agree with you, Kate. I think that Eunice is. Let's just get my starting 11 up here. I don't think Eunice is available, but I definitely think that he's got a good football brain on his shoulders. He's a lot more composed. Fatawa's,
Oh, you're frozen.
See, he's gonna. I believe right now that he. Oh, am I back?
You're back.
Sorry, I'm back. Sorry, guys. I think I just made the thing freeze at my starting 11. I'll just leave it off. I actually quite rate Eunice, and I think he's absolutely brilliant. So, sorry about that, guys. A few technical difficulties here in Leicester City down under. But Brad, do you think that we are going to get away with a win today? Do you think that we're going to just is this going to be the one we finally lose? What are your thoughts?
I don't think we'll lose the game, but this is, and we've probably said this a few times this season. I know, but with the way they play the football, this is going to be a tough test. We might see, and I say this quietly because apparently it doesn't happen in Leicester, but we might see a draw tonight. I know. Leicester don't draw, but just pretend they do. This might actually happen tonight. But then the more I've been thinking about it, right? Leeds are saying they're going to be attacking and they're aggressive. I watched them against Stoke. They were awful. If you get at them, they're awful. They were dreadful. I mean, Bamford came on, missed a penalty, and that summed up their performance in front of goal. They were dreadful against Stoke. I'm sure Leeds fans probably might argue with me, or they might agree with me on that one. And I feel like the last time I heard Leicester were going to go be up against a very difficult attacking in-your-face opposition, we beat Blackburn 4-1. And then when I heard it before that, it was Southampton, and we beat them 4-1. And I look at the other teams that I don't want to say struggled against, but it's been low scoring against. And that was 11 men behind the ball QPR, 2-1. 11 men behind the ball under Nigel Pearson, did justice for Nige at Bristol City, 1-0. Hull, our only defeat this season, 11 men behind the ball, poor finishing, lost the game 1-0. As much as it worries me that Leeds could attack and score a couple of goals, you look at our results when other teams have played like that against us, and my brain goes, I think it might be 2-2, but I'm going to say 4-2 sort of thing, because I don't want to get too ahead of myself. You're expecting it to go, I won't say wrong, but you're not expecting us to keep winning games. But the more we keep somehow winning these games, the more it becomes a bit easy to say that Leicester are going to win games. So my head says 2-2, but my heart says, well, why can't we just turn these over like we did Blackburn, Norwich, Southampton, and everybody else that's come at us in that manner? So it's a weird game to try and predict, which is why I'm bottom of the predictions league. But we don't talk about that on this channel. We don't need to mention that on here too much. I'll let that one go. But it's going to be a very strange game, and I think in the first 20 minutes, if Leicester are a good couple of goals to the good, that could actually spell the end to it. Could become a one-sided affair. I really do have that feeling about it. I know Leeds came back from 2-0 down against Norwich, but you kind of pass that off as, ex-manager, former club syndrome. So it always works a bit better. I don't know how you cope when you know what this side is capable of doing to a team once they get in front. And of course, Leeds only have 60 minutes to score goals because Leicester don't concede after the hour mark. So if I've jinxed that now and we concede after 60 minutes, you know where to blame me. You know where to come to blame me.
Jeez, thanks a lot, Brad. Kate, if we do win this game and we win strongly, do we celebrate promotion? Like, when is enough enough? Will it be? Is it 17 points clear of third if we win?
Yeah, that's massive, isn't it? And that's why I think Leeds will be up for it, because that mentally is massive for them. I don't think we can celebrate promotion. No, there's an element of, even if the world has to cave in order for us to lose out on the automatic placings, you still want to push on, because I still think that this team is a bit off a Premier League squad. So you've got to keep pushing, you've got to keep improving, you've got to keep striving, because if we're going into the bigger league next year, we don't want to go in soft and unfit and casual and not sharp. There's an end. There's still a massive project going on, isn't there? It's not just about promotion in lots of ways. It's making sure that we get the best quality out of this team that we've got and look to the future, really.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I wish I had it here now. I could probably find it in a second, but I seen an interview or a quote from Harry Winks the other day. And the first one I brought up the other day was talking about how happy he was of his football and, what Enzo does for him. I think I sent it to you, but I just saw the other day that he was saying, Enzo's been keeping them grounded, keeping them humble. Every game's a tough game, and to never look past anyone. And that in conjunction with what I think is, we're seeing Enzo's obviously doing a lot of study. I think he's proven he's a great tactician. But that is really important, that we not getting too ahead of ourselves like I am right now. Enzo is keeping him grounded. And also we've got people competing for a spot as well, because we're actually having rotation now, which is nice too. So if you're going to get complacent, you're going to get subbed, or you're not going to start. So I think that's brilliant to see, rather than seeing this borderline the same starting 11 week in, week out, regardless of how you played last season. Brad, you've gone for score for 4-2. I'm going to go 2-2. Kate, are you going to the match, and what's your score prediction?
I am going to the match. I'm going to go 3-2 Leicester, I think. I think we're going to concede a couple, but I think we'll edge it.
Okay. Brilliant. We're going to see an end-to-end game. I do think it's going to be one of those games. I think that it's going to be a high-scoring game, unless I give it the kiss of death right now. Brad, is there anything else you guys want to add before you wrap this up?
Yeah, I just think I think I forgot what I was thinking. I had something to say and now I've completely forgot. No, I think it's really refreshing, isn't it? And I kind of back what Kate's saying. I think Enzo's clearly echoing that around the changing room, because it'd be easy for a group of players to see where they are in the league, because Leicester could essentially look at this game and go, well, we don't even need to win tonight because we'll still be 14 points clear of third. And you don't want that mentality. You want them to see this as step number 14 for the Premier League. This is step number 14 of 46, getting us ready for the Premier League. And you want this team to be ruthless. You know, and there have been so far. And again, like Kate says, unless it was all to collapse at Leicester for whatever reason, it's the only way I could see it going wrong in the sense of us dropping out the top two. But you want that. You want Leicester from now until game week 46 to be absolutely relentless. So the likes of Newcastle, Villa, or whoever is in the Premier League, that sort of team, are looking at the Championship going, oh, God, if they play like that next season, God, what are Leicester going to do? Because they ain't going to struggle. I don't want to play them. You know, your fixture list will come around next season. And if you're seeing Leicester play red-hot football and they're, you know, destroying teams left, right, and centre, and they're just an unrelenting machine with it, you know, the best morale, best team, everything, and all of a sudden you're thinking, God, if they strengthen that team and bring it up, well, I don't want to play them, you know, first games of the season. Don't want to be playing Leicester, and that's the mentality you want, because the last thing we want as fans is to see a team suddenly put the feet up and think, well, we've done the job in the first 15 games of the season. It doesn't work like that. So I'm really happy with, like you said about Winks. He came out and said we have to respect QPR. We have to take them with the respect they are because they're in this division. We have to respect everybody. And you know, the players echoing the the manager's words only strengthens that. So let's hope tonight we keep that going. And I don't see why we can't get 3 points and just keep chipping away at that gap between us and them. And it's so important in this division to do so. So yeah, let's just hope this feel good factor remains throughout.
Mate, you get too excited. Sometimes it gets me excited. I'm not going to sleep tonight. I got to get up in like 4 or 5 hours to watch the game. I hope we absolutely give them a pacing now after you said that. I hope we just absolutely destroy them, Kate, and then we just, yeah, like I said, let's just celebrate early. You know, fuck it. Let's just smell the roses. I'm just kidding. Honestly, I think it's going to be an 10 game, but I think it's going to be our first draw this season. But they are to be respected. Friday they have got a dangerous some attacking quality in that team, but ours is better.
Yeah, I think because Friday night's a tasty fixture. The fans will be up for it.
Thanks heaps, guys, for coming on, and thank you everyone that's watched.
I think Kate had something to say.
I would imagine you'd be a lot more excited there.
Yeah. There's a bit of delay. Kate's trying to say something, and you keep cutting her off.
Don't you worry.
Oh, technology. We can't rely on it, can we?
Sorry. Man, I did honestly, Kate. I didn't mean to do that. There was a bit of a lag. Sorry, I wasn't mid rude.
How you doing, Kate?
My internet is absolute shit.
Don't worry.
Very professional, Leicester Down Under. Thank you guys for joining me, and thank you for everyone that watched. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you on the next one. Let's go. Come on, you foxes.
Cheers. See you later.
See you later, Kate.